To share in creation has us utilizing the cause and effect mechanics of it, and so we will also be experiencing tap lines, and as we go about our daily lives, we do have to deal with the personal self, as bothersome as it is, and inevitably we will get tap-lined. The difference being, of course, as we move from being unconscious creators, self-convinced, and locked into our personal selves only, to connecting with our real selves, recognizing our real intent to supersede creation, and recognizing universal positioning with the All is. These tap lines will then no longer be an issue. We become aware and conscious of the nature of the simulator. We understand and deal with the effects we consciously create, and although we endeavour to not be churning out unnecessary personal self-causes, we may still do so on occasion, but at least we recognise the effects, are conscious of them, and seek to get a better handle on our idea-generating vehicles. We begin to stand more so in the new nowness, which is a position one can choose in creation now, a state of being-isness, where one is connected to the real self and real awareness and being now, as opposed to projecting consideration into the future or the past. From this position we effectively stand with the is, which we are already, while having a simulated created self in creation. This would be different than standing in the now in creation, as if we are operating from the view and awareness of the personal self only that resides in the simulator. The now is simply the current moment in cause and effect creation. Yes, we wouldn't be projecting into the future or considering past references, but we still are in the simulator, whereas the new nowness of the is allows that we have the connection to the true reality beyond the simulator, and to stand in this being-isness state, we are beyond the trappings of karma, or cause and effect, as cause and effect only exists in creation, and not this position of standing real with the is. In essence, then, to stand in this being-isness state, we are in a little bubble in creation, but beyond the cause and effect, that is its mechanic. We are still in creation, but we are no longer the effect of anything, including all of the rigid agreements that have bound us for lifetimes. We can say that from this decided position, karma, or cause and effect, is no more. Ideally, then, we would seek to perpetuate this state of being-isness as best as we are able, that we become constantly free from effects that we would generate if we were to step out of this bubble and back into the personal self and the simulator it is in. For this being-isness state is who we actually are. This is our real awareness, a real awareness that stands with the is now. We just require the simulator to recognize what we already are through our process of awareness and earning this awareness while in creation. If we demonstrate our real intent, that want to be with the is, we are demonstrating our sincerity. We are demonstrating our real selves. For the real self seeks nothing but to be. In essence, it simply is, and like the sun shining, would only wish to be a demonstration of itself. Anything other than this being-isness state would stem from the personal self, and any agenda, any side project, any other reason for wanting to become more aware other than achieving this state of being-isness we already are, must be the want of the personal self. As we go about our process of sharing, we will be dipping out of this being-isness state. For in order to share, we must create. We must decide on ideas and their implementation. Consequently, it will be an impossibility not to exact effects, the effect experience being the fruition of our created means of sharings. This utilizing of the cause and effect mechanics is not for the personal self any longer, therefore. It is what we would call beneficial and supporting of life, referencing the true reality, and sharing the new you with others, that they too can begin their journey of recognizing who they actually are, free beings of real light. This would be then a sincere use of creation toward this end, toward the assumption of universal all-is positioning, and as such would be stemming from the real self, the real intent, to become the true being of light we already are. In regards to cause and effect karma, the standing in this being-isness state ensures we move beyond the necessity to experience it if we decide to do this. And when it comes to the effects generated through our sharings, the real guides will take care of this karma and work it off. They naturally will only do this for the individuals who demonstrate sincerity of real purpose, who recognize their real intent. An individual who by the process of endeavouring to be with the is will still be creating a cause and effect, not just through the sharings, but through everyday personal life, as we will all have to deal with the personal self, as long as we have one to deal with. Those who frivolously churn out unnecessary effects, especially personal wants and desires that are easily avoidable, will find they must deal with these themselves until they decide to get a little focus. As the process of awareness continues, we have moved from being the unconscious effects of our unawareness to the conscious effect through our recognition and understanding of the nature of the simulator. But ideally, we ought not be content to remain there, although nothing is negated, and we are at liberty to create what we want. We have the free will to be the effect of whatever we choose. But if we really wish to recognize our standing with the ears, then we ought push on, and far better get control over our experience forging vehicle mechanics, to the point that we no longer are generating experience unnecessarily, just that which is unavoidable from a personal self-perspective, and necessary from a sharing and earning the way perspective. Then we need not concern ourselves with our tap lines, as the real guides will deal with these, and they and the new you song will be instrumental in removing all the old agreements and attachments that have been locked into our created consciousness since we entered the simulator. For yes, this is how we sever these old agreements. For without the connection to the ears, the new you song, and the real guide's assistance, it would be an impossibility. Even if the personal self recognized the process of creation, its cause and effect component, and determined all the millions of agreements it had latched onto and decided upon throughout its millions of lifetimes, it would still be bombarded with subliminal subconscious programming that seeks to maintain and enforce the agreements to ideas of control that have had the individual locked in creational drudgery for so many lifetimes. Effectively then, the Callum God rules the personal created self through all the systems, agreements, and means that maintain them. It would be an impossibility to extricate yourself from his clutches and the simulated matrix of control without the connection to the real universes, the new you song, provided by Dwayne the New Man, and the real universal guides, in accordance with life itself. But then it is only the created self the Callum God controls, and he does not understand or have the awareness to recognize the real universes. He, like most, can't see beyond the created simulation, or the created selves that reside within it. He, like most others, think the simulation is the real reality, and that the created individuals are the real people, and neither are, so he can have the creations if he wants. For despite having the connection to the real universes, of being on our process of recognition of this true reality, and the beings of light we are, our real selves are still encased in the personal created self, as it goes about its business, sharing in the simulator, and it will be bombarded by effects much the same as any other unconscious individual. For yes, we are all experiencing this reality as it stands. For millions of lifetimes we have had a hand in the agreement that has made it so, and despite now having the real connection and awareness, we still must deal with a world we helped to forge. It's quite apparent, though, that it is only through awareness that things in the simulator can change for the better. We are not here to save the world, and we can't in fact do so, or save anyone, unless they decide and agree to awareness that effectively allows their own salvation. If awareness allows the superseding of karma, or cause and effect in creation, then if everybody chose to assume this BeingISSSNESS state, agreement would be retracted from all the systems of the world that stem from ideas of control and destruction, as is the overall demonstrable experience being collectively shared the world over.